very difficult to keep it from spreading. But I said the good news is really that ATP can be resupplied to the cell, and that alone will eliminate the chronic fatigue syndrome. Now, at this point, I would like to take a break, and I want to thank you all, and God bless you. Folks, we'll give you a 20-minute break. Give you a chance to do what you have to do. I know a lot of you are thirsty. Sandra? I think Dr. Merkl is still trapped out in the foyer somewhere. And before I turn the podium back to Dr. Merkl, I have a question for him. I'm sure he was besieged as I was besieged. Many people are trying to find a way to have access to the injectables through their own physicians. And he and I had this discussion prior to the meeting, and I'm sure he will attempt to enlighten us. At least I hope he will. Thank you. Hello again. I know. Maybe later. And I don't know exactly the laws in Canada. I understand that you have the naturopath law in Canada, so if the live crystal is 100% pure, clean, natural substance. It's produced from off-the-shelf food items. Anything which goes into the live crystal production as a raw material, you can find it on the grocery shelf. And of course, we also produce it under the control of Food and Drug in the United States. So we have to comply. Otherwise, we could not distribute it in the U.S. and all over the world. Now, the injectable, every time you mention injectable or medical, it automatically comes under medical. And this is, I don't know exactly what the laws are in Canada. So we have Dr. Dadgan in Toronto empowered with that to find out and file the DIN numbers, which he did. And he's working on that to get the Chondriana approved in Canada and put the claims on live crystals. But without putting the claims on live crystals, I presume, because it's a natural substance, that the doctors are allowed to use it intravenously. Now, if you look at the history of the adenosine and adenosine monophosphate, they have been approved by the US FDA, the adenosine in 1989, but they've already been testing the adenosine and concluded its efficacy and usefulness in the human body back in 1929. And I have all this literature received from the FDA file. It was they released it reluctantly, but one of the senators got it for me. And so all in all, the live crystal injectable, which we call it injectable because it's a medical grade, it's very pure substance and only containing adenosine guanosine phosphates. So we are trying to find out the legalities in Canada, how it can be obtained, whether you can just randomly ship it to doctors, whether individuals has to get it just like in the U.S. In the U.S., an individual have to write a letter that it's for my own personal use, not for resale, and I comply with the 1988 law, and I have a doctor to administer it. with that letter in the file and and the supplier, they ship it to them or to you or whoever orders it. And I presume it's the same goes for Canada. Now we have several clinics in Mexico who will ship it, or Dr. Delgan from Toronto. And we also setting up a centralized manufacturing which will be under the control of the Mexican Health Department. We're doing this with the Alcan group, the most powerful group in Mexico. And they also getting it through the health department for approval, both Chondriana and Larpistel. They're expecting it to be approved by next spring. That's all I can say. We filed in other countries as well and try to legalize it everywhere. Now, from here, I'm going to go to Hawaii, and I'm going to have a meeting there in the governor's office with some state representatives and university hospitals. The discussion will be to file the IND and NDA in the U.S. and get it cleared in the U.S. as well. So they seem to be very much interested in giving me a helping hand to do that. And that's where we really stand. In some countries, we produce it and distribute it legally, and other countries, you can bring it in legally. And we urge everybody that they only obtain the material in legal way. Now, I can supply material to research and development purposes. If doctors or institutions write me a letter that it's for the experimental use, then we can supply them. We call it depolarized water, which is the same grade. It's very high purity and it's sterile, and they can do whatever experiment they want with it. That's up to them. So that's where we're really standing. So as a person or as a corporation, I can't go out and start selling the Larpistel generally to the public because the doctors has to administer it, and I don't think that anybody should try to get the material and inject themselves intravenously with it. Because even if you take distilled water and you inject air into your blood vessel, you can get into trouble. Any other questions relating to this subject? Yes?
Yes, the product you're selling in the back, is that your product or is it product of yours?
The products, all the brand cases, yes, it's all our product. We shipped it out here. We shipped up here, I believe, 40 cases. Yes. I believe he's using it, yes. And I think he's a very good doctor. I know him. I met with him, and very good impression. And he seemed to be a very good, honest doctor.
What was the question?
Could you repeat the question?
Dr. Bennigan in Whitehorse. Brannigan, I'm sorry. Dr. Brannigan in Whitehorse, I believe. He's treating people, and he's a good doctor. Yes, sir.
Graduate training in Montreal, and then he worked in anesthesiology and surgery at the General Hospital in Montreal. And now he's in Whitehorse. He's also running for the candidate.
Yes, sir.
Very much
He's an excellent doctor. My wife just came back to in the video that you had, you mentioned that it was something that you had interpreted as a gift to the world that you had come up with. And I want to applaud you on this. Thank you for your assessment of it because it has come to me as a gift. Even my wife, last 3 weeks ago, my wife up to the White Horse and she got the grant. And we were doing our treatment for and a day and a half after the first two injections, all the pain that she was suffering for the last 6 months immediately disappeared. And she has been changing ever since. She has gone through a lot of the Chondriana also injection and also another component. But I wheeled her into the airport. That's the extent of her pain that she couldn't walk from the